I'm your host, Greg Chatmendy, along with my co-host, Gavin Modrizzle.
Dr. Rogers is starting.
Who else is going to play? Golden Tate? We'll get to that later. So we're going to be going through Week 11, which is a week I don't want to really talk about. Nothing really made sense. And then we'll be doing the rest of the predictions for Week 12. Starting off with Saints-Eagles, where the Saints got stomped. Without an offense, they tend to struggle, I guess. Who knew?
Weird.
And the Eagles will probably make the playoffs because they have like one of the easiest schedules left in the year.
I think they have the easiest schedule.
They play the football team twice. Who else do they play?
Giants twice,
Yeah.
the Jets. Yeah. They have one game against the Cowboys. That's the only game left they have against a winning record team, and the Cowboys have been playing pretty poorly recently.
Hey, imagine the football team sweep them, make the playoffs, and the Cowboys lose out. The football team wins the division. That'd be funny.
I think it's more likely with the Eagles in that scenario, but whatever, we'll take it.
All right. Dolphins beat the Jets. I think Tua played pretty well. I don't remember anything else from this game.
Because it's not an important game.
Maybe the Dolphins can somehow insert themselves into the playoff race. Hey, they're on a winning streak, Gavin. Tua's found his mojo ever since not having a broken finger.
I mean, the Raiders are in there and they're falling apart.
Well, they have the best receiver in the league, Derek Carr.
What?
Do you not remember him taunting Trayvon Diggs when he was lined up at receiver while Mariota ran in for a touchdown? He was like, "Come on, press me," while he's lined off the line.
I didn't see that, gonna be honest.
That was like one of the whatever. Washington football team beat the Panthers in not only Ron Rivera's revenge game, but Taylor Heineke's. They won, and however sad it might be that Cam Newton didn't. Taylor Heineke put on a show. If you were watching this game, you know what I'm talking about. But Taylor Heineke was so fun to watch. He was just slinging that thing. He's delivering it into the tightest. It was a work of art. Taylor Heineke is putting a master class in the modern quarterback right there.
Yeah, he played really well. He looked like he was actually what they expected him to be at the start of the season.
I don't really they expected him to do this. I think there's a reason he was backed up to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
But I think they want him to learn from Ryan Fitzpatrick and then proceed to do stuff like this,
Speaking of Ryan Fitzpatrick, is he just dead?
Yeah, he's out for the season.
Ah, cool. We're just gonna speed run through these because who needs to do every other when we can just do.
We can both go over it.
Exactly.
Just say 3 words.
Yeah, Colts Bills. Now I know you know a lot about Jonathan Taylor and Jonathan Taylor specifically. We just looked at this game actually, and I'm assuming Teeks is in the chat. Teeks, guess how many passing yards Carson Wentz had in their blowout win over the Bills?
How many yards, Teeks? Guess. No. 4? A little bit more than that. A little bit more.
Yeah.
Try again.
Try again, Teeks.
That's what I'm thinking. 22. Closer?
You're closer. You're within 100 now. It was 106 passing yards. Josh Allen I think the Bills have a problem, and it's the fact that they don't run the ball ever.
You think?
It's because, now defenses can just drop back into coverage, not worry about it, or they can blitz the hell out of them, and they know they're not going to run the ball, or they're not going to run an option. Their leading rusher on the year is probably Josh Allen.
I mean, Matt Breida played really well.
1 week.
Yeah. But that's better than not playing well ever.
What happened to that Zach Moss guy? They started using him one week and then just
hurt.
never used him again. Ah, okay. And I know they hate Devin Singletary for some reason. Like he's always on the field, but they never give him the ball. And whenever you see Devin Singletary on the field, might as well run prevent because they ain't giving it to him. But the Bills really need to figure something out on offense. They need to somehow work the running game into their thing, otherwise they are screwed. Because even the worst defenses can stop a team that can't run the ball. Just ask the Chiefs, who can't do anything, really.
Yeah.
Now we have this stellar game. The Lions versus the Browns.
Baker Mayfield needs help getting up in the morning.
Please, Cleveland, put him on the bench. Please. he looked like Tim Boyle.
It was not a fun game to see.
It was atrocious. Baker Mayfield was lofting picks. Tim Boyle was doing the same thing. And now the Lions are missing DeAndre Swift for who knows how long.
That's not because of this game, but yeah.
Yeah. The Lions are screwed. Sorry, Lions fans. You have two things that bring you joy. TJ Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift. Now you're missing one of them.
The other one was a little banged up after the game, too.
Yep. The Bears just hate happiness.
They really do. That's why Matt Nagy's still there.
Lamar Jackson strategically got sick, so he couldn't get killed by the Bears.
Yeah.
Niners Jaguars. Do you remember? I remember one thing about this game, but I don't remember really much of anything else.
I remember the Niners blew them out pretty much, and people are like, "Whoa, the Niners are gonna make the playoffs," which they might.
They're more likely to make the playoffs than the Seahawks.
They are, but just because they beat the Jaguars doesn't mean you should say stuff like that on everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I believe Deebo Samuel was their leading rusher, right? Which I think is funny. They have so many running backs. They just love signing more and more running backs, and the leading rusher was their receiver. But I think the Niners, I don't think people realize how big of a deal George Kittle is to the 49ers. Because when he's on the field, that team is so much better. Because he does so much for that team. Just not even just on the field. On the field, he's a monster. But, morale-wise, he just, everyone loves him, you know?
Yeah.
You say Jorge?
No.
Not you.
Yeah, it's
We're going to skip this game. I don't want to talk about it. Packers Vikings. This is a pretty good game. Don't look what game I skipped. The Packers defense, which had looked really good for so long, got torched by Justin Jefferson. The football gods saved Kirk Cousins when Darnell Savage couldn't catch things.
Yeah.
The Vikings.
I wish you could do that in the franchise.
The Vikings, instead of giving Aaron Rodgers too much time, they gave him no time and risked a Vikings field goal. And they made it. Greg Joseph, who knew, former #1 overall pick in our fantasy league.
Yeah.
Popping off right now for the Vikings. Good for him, man. The Vikings won. Really a needed win for them. A statement win, considering they lose to every bad team they play and beat every good team they play.
They're special.
I don't understand them. Maybe one day I will. But this team has so much potential, only if they had a good head coach. Kind of like the Bears.
Yeah.
Who under Justin Fields in the first half didn't do anything. And then Justin Fields got hurt, and he's out for who knows how long.
Good for them.
But There's Tyler Huntley. By the end of the game, it was Tyler Huntley scoring off against Andy Dalton. Truly a matchup of dreams for, I'm sure, everyone involved. The Ravens defense forgot to cover Marquise Goodwin on 4 and 12. He just literally ran straight, and the Ravens couldn't stop that. And the Bears were like, "Here, don't worry, fam. We'll call PI on this guy real quick. We'll call PI, and then somehow the Bears will find a fantastic way to lose this game. And the Ravens still win even without Lamar. And there's this whole Matt Nagy thing, and that was proven false, and now that guy's never going to get listened to again.
Unfortunately.
Sorry, Bears fans. I think you're stuck with Nagy to the end of the season. McCaskies don't fire mid-season.
I mean, they do.
They never have. Not once. Never has a...
I feel like someone got fired mid-season.
No. Never in Bears history has a head coach been fired mid-season.
Really?
Yeah, that's a true fact. At least as long as McCaskies have owned it. Like their family, the House family. Which is a weird fact considering how old the Bears are. And speaking of teams and firings, we have the Raiders and the Bengals. The Bengals beat the Raiders, and the Raiders are dying slowly but surely. The only way they can beat a team is if Derek Carr is on national television. Derek Carr is like reverse Kirk Cousins. Derek Carr plays up on national television while Kirk Cousins forgets he's a quarterback. It's truly a spectacle. I don't really remember much of this game, so can you talk about it, please?
The Raiders-Bengals?
Yep.
Jamar Chase had a decent showing again, which is good since he hasn't done much in a bit. Joe Mixon had a touchdown and 100 rushing yards, I believe. I don't know, the Bengals just played really good offense, mainly because the Raiders' defense sucks. But yeah.
Alright, Cardinals Seahawks. An injured Cardinals team still beat the Seahawks, who appear to have lost any form of competence when it comes to playing football. They are literally terrible. And the Seahawks are officially in remeld mode, everyone. Who knew that trading 2 first-round picks for a safety who couldn't cover anyone was a bad decision? Woo! Yeah! Let's go! Jamal Adams is a liability on the field at this point. Unless he's blitzing, he can't do anything. Michael Thomas is probably actually more than slant boy, but Jamal Adams is definitely blitz boy.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals still somehow won, but we're not doing power rankings this week. But the Cardinals are number 1 in the power rankings, so bet against them if you're betting. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not an expert. Don't do that.
What are you against?
I don't know. I'll find out soon. I don't remember. Cowboys Chiefs. The Chiefs won. The Cowboys are on a slump as of late. The Chiefs ran the sickest play ever. Fake field goal, punt. They downed him at the 1 though, so it worked. Let's go, baby. It's what you love to see. Some good special teams play.
Yep.
If that play didn't work, it'd be the dumbest fake of all time.
Yeah, it was a touchback.
Yeah. Set the 20. And be like, oh, sick. You guys gained 20 yards of a fake field goal punt. Yeah, but the Chiefs won. Congratulations. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got taunted for the got fined for the vile act of pointing. I had to text Gavin to turn off the TV just in case they showed it for the next hour.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. I could not believe they allowed that on national television. I was on the brink of vomiting at what I was witnessing. But it's just like this game, I guess we'll go back to that I skipped. The Titans and the Texans.
Titans are dead.
They have... They probably are at this rate. Like, think of their talent right as of now. As in, they're all on IR. AJ Brown on IR. Julio Jones on IR. Derrick Henry on IR. Josh Reynolds cut on the Lions. Ryan Tannehill, or Nate Davis, I think, is also on IR now. So they have Ben Jones, Taylor Lewan, maybe.
Ryan Tannehill, whenever you talk about IR players, it's going to happen eventually.
Well, Logan Woodside's on IR, I think, too. Or no, he's on the COVID list. So, Deshaun Kaiser's on the practice squad. Adrian Peterson got cut, rightfully so. Dontrell Hilliard got called up because he was the only running back that I've seen that has shown any sort of talent. But in this game specifically, the Texans decided that their only course of action to beat the Titans was to kill A.J. Brown and injuring every single part of his body. And then Ryan Tannehill threw 4 picks. Chester Rogers forgot how to return kicks, I guess, and forgot that you need to get away from the ball. It was bad. And the Titans are in a tough spot, and they can only win if their defense can somehow score at least 6 points. Because the offense is going to have a tough time with fringe NFL roster running backs, a quarterback that his entire game is pretty much how good he is at the play action, an O-line that can only run block with no running backs, receivers who are half of them were one of them was a gunner last year. Here, let me name you the top 3 Titans receivers this week. Returner. Backup returner at that, before Cameron Batson tore his ACL. Number 2, gunner on punt return. On punt block, I mean. No, punt. Yeah, on punting. When they punted the ball, he's the gunner. Last year, and at the start of this year. Until he needed to play receiver, because everyone was injured. Number 3, Dez Fitzpatrick, maybe? The guy that was cut from the Titans roster after being a 4th-round pick, and then got re-signed because there were so many injuries. And then number 4, Golden Tate, who was signed to the practice squad 2 days ago. Why can't the Titans just get all the old 50-year-old players who still have a little bit left in them to go to their team? Not Adrian Peterson, that doesn't count.
Who do you want, Alshon Jeffrey?
Maybe. I mean, at least he's big. Now we just have a collection of slot receivers to go out and play against the Patriots.
I wonder what Bill's gonna do. He's gonna prevent defense against you.
He probably could, and Ryan Tannehill's still gonna throw 4 picks because no one's able to catch on this team. Like, their best receiver, unironically, I don't even know if he's healthy, is Jeff Swaim.
Don't you have Anthony Firkshire?
They do, but they don't play him because he can't run block, which I don't know why it matters now, considering our running backs suck anyway. Might as well just throw him out there every down. Call it a day. It's not like our running backs are any more than 2 yards per carry anyway. Alright, now that I'm done ranting about how the Titans are screwed, we have the Steelers and the Chargers, which was an interesting game.
Love the game. Great game.
I only watched the first half. So you can talk about all the shenanigans that happened after I stopped watching.
Alright, so you talk first.
So the Chargers looked pretty dominant. They were just doing Chargers things. The Steelers were hurt, so the Chargers were like, you know what, we'll play football. So they did. They got up to a pretty sizable lead. And then I went to go take a shower.
Alright. Second half of the game, Chargers were still being fairly dominant. Najee Harris got hurt, eventually came back into the game. Eric Ebron ran IR, but I think it's unrelated to the game because I think he was playing in the last drive or whatever.
He's a second string tight end anyway, it doesn't really matter.
True. Pat Frymouth is better. Nasir Adams. Asante Samuel Jr. got hurt. So he was out throughout the game, and the Steelers started staging a comeback. And in Chargers fashion, they allowed it to happen, and they got down. And then
Mike Williams.
I'm down bad. Mike Williams scored a one-play touchdown. Unfortunately, it was a one-play touchdown. It was left time for the Steelers. I had zero trust in the Chargers defense in doing literally anything.
And they did something, right?
The fat man could not move and got sacked 3 times in a row.
By the Chargers D-line, by the way.
Yeah. And the Chargers end up winning in a shootout of the game, technically.
Yay, Chargers, you did it. You probably should have won by more, but, that's fine. At least you won. Good job, Chargers. Woo, Chargers! Boo, Bucks! You had to beat up the poor run-fast guy, the Giants. Giants brought in Kenny Galladay. They brought in Kenny Galladay. They had Saquon come back. They drafted a receiver in the top 20s. Still sucks. Still can't play offense. Like, there was a throw, I remember. Daniel Jones throws it to no one on his team and directly to a Buccaneers player. Was he? He pretty much just checked down to a defensive tackle.
I think he thought Saquon Barkley was there.
He probably told him to be there, and then Saquon does normal Saquon things and just doesn't listen to the play. Which is his biggest downside, by the way. I don't think people talk about this enough. Saquon can turn nothing into a lot, but he can also turn a lot into nothing. Because he always wants the a lot, and he wants the end zone, so he'll instead of taking like 5 yards, he'll take a different route for 2. So say they hand it off to him, wide open hole, but if he thinks he can take it to the outside, he will, and that's what he struggles with ball carrier vision, but he's an amazing athlete. So that's why he's so inconsistent, for anyone that's wondering or cares. Yeah, but the Bucs won pretty easily. This is against the Giants. You should have won.
Yeah.
Alright, now we're on to Thanksgiving with another killer game. Detroit, Chicago. It was 14-13 was the final score, right?
14-16.
Oh, my bad. 14-16. Andy Dalton didn't play good. Jared Goff, also not so good. The Bears injured DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson. Why? Who knows? They couldn't run the ball, mostly because it's Matt Nagy and he refuses to. Darnell Mooney's a really good player, though. Good for him. I kind of forget Allen Robinson's in that.
Drops, though. That's because they're forcing it to him.
Yeah, you kind of forget that Allen Robinson's on this team at some points.
Yeah.
But the Lions, you're so close again. So close again. That's like your, 4th game lost on a game-winning field goal?
It always happens in Detroit, too.
Except for that one in Minnesota.
That's a fluke. I don't believe that ever happened.
Hey, the Vikings have kicked 2 game-winning field goals in Minnesota.
Both against division rivals.
Yes, but were they in Minnesota when they missed one against the Cardinals? Hey, 2 for 3 isn't bad. It's passing in high school, not college.
No, it's not.
66?
D's not passing.
It is passing. In high school. It's not good, but it's passing.
Okay. I didn't think it was. Alright, fair enough.
At least it is in my school, because I know there's people with D's who pass. Whatever, anyway, Bills Saints. Or no, I skipped Raiders Cowboys.
Multi-ball.
Yeah, the refs were like, we need to feed the people. They haven't had enough cornbread. You know what color cornbread is? Yellow. So what are we going to throw on the field? Yellow flags. And that's all they did. To be fair, a lot of the ones against the Cowboys were deserved. Like, all the PIs against Anthony Brown. People were complaining that, like, oh, it's his fault. It's the receiver's fault he didn't turn around.
Just turn your head, man.
He's like, he was grabbing his helmet. Well, the receiver was trying to make a catch. and the corner never even attempted to turn around. The receiver has the right to do that. I know it's like probably stupid, but that was a good call. No matter what you think, Cowboys fans. I know you can't handle losing to a team more dysfunctional than yourself.
You know, they mentioned a stat line. Derek Carr is undefeated. When the Raiders are undefeated when he throws for more than 300 yards. Well, the Bills wanted to add to the stat. Derek Carr wins when there's more than 300 penalty yards. He's undefeated.
There were so many. Every play felt like there was a flag, and someone needs to tell these refs that they need to calm down. Hey, on the bright side, there were some stare downs though that weren't called for taunting. Yeah, although there were 2 fights. There was one during the game between 2 special teamers.
The fight didn't. There wasn't even a penalty. They just offset. They're like, okay, you're ejected, no yards.
He forgot to turn on his mic too.
Yeah.
Or he lost his voice from saying so many penalties.
But that didn't even add to the penalty yards.
And then after the game, I believe someone, was it Tristan Hill maybe? Was he the one that came up and punched? Yeah, that went up and punched who I believe the starting right guard on the...
I have no clue.
Center? I don't know, but he went up and punched him in the face. And Tristan Hill is slowly becoming one of my least favorite players in the NFL. Because last year I remember an incident where he clearly twists Chris Carson's leg.
Yeah.
And he's almost at Vontaze Perfect levels at this point, how much hate I have for him. He's the reason the NFL puts in all these stupid rules. Players like him.
He's more of a meme at this point, though.
Yeah. Just like the Saints offense, who didn't do anything against the Bills besides injure Tre'Davious White, which was an ACL, so it doesn't even matter. You can't, because that wasn't even them.
Yeah, he wasn't even doing anything. He just slid. They should have replayed it like 5 times.
I was too busy sleeping when this game was on because I was an hour ahead.
Yeah.
So, Gavin, you go right ahead. I didn't watch any of this.
Yeah, so the Tre'Davious White injury is huge. He had an interception. And then like 3 plays later, he tears his ACL while covering Tre'Quan Smith, which was not ideal for the Bills. But Josh Allen threw a few dumb picks.
It's becoming a trend.
Kwon Alexander, like, OBJ'd it. Like, it was insane. But it happened. I mean, I was all for it because Kwon Alexander's bad. And, I mean, they just annihilate him, though. Like, not really much to say. Bills won.
Yeah. Bills should be concerned considering they don't run the ball and Josh Allen is getting a real bad habit of throwing interceptions, which is a habit you don't want to have. Just ask the Buccaneers fans from 2015.
They're looking a lot like the Buccaneers offense from 2019. Their defense is significantly better. But
0 running, no matter who's at running back, just kind of throw a pick.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Buccaneers, let's go on to predictions. But not before I do my players of the week. Of course, offensively in the AFC, I have Jonathan Taylor, who had 5 total touchdowns and I believe over 200 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah.
That's absurd. And then NFC, I was between a couple guys. But I had to give it to Justin Jefferson because ain't no way the Vikings winning that game without him. And that's what the award is. You won't win a game. If a team couldn't win a game without this player, then yep.
On the offensive side, on the defensive side, it's...
On the defensive side, there wasn't really anything that important. Like Chandler Jones got it one because he had multiple sacks. There wasn't too many impressive performances. And then for the AFC, I couldn't really think of anyone. But then I said, screw it. Why not? We'll give it to some guy named Odom from the Colts because he had a pick, and that really just gave the Colts all the momentum. I was able to help build on their lead so that they can dominate and destroy the Bills. And if we have some anti-player of the week, I have Chester Rogers on the Titans for forgetting how to field a punt. And, I don't know, Taylor Heineke for ruining Cam's comeback tour. Even though we love Taylor Heineke around here. He's our king. So up first, are you still there?
Yeah.
Alright, up first we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Colts. And I think the Bucs are going to win this, mostly because the only thing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have this year is a run defense, and the only thing the Colts have this year is a run offense. That's the only reason I have the Bucs.
What game were we talking about?
Bucs Colts.
Oh. Colts. I think Colts could win this pretty easily because Vita Vea's out. So the Bucs don't have a run defense like they usually would have. But the Colts cannot throw the ball against the robot arm secondary of Tampa Bay. So
it's not fair. They get an old man that's Benjamin Button in reverse ages, and they get a robot. Like, this isn't fair.
Yeah.
Next we have another killer game in Jets Texans. I have the Jets.
You have the Jets?
I have the Jets over the Texans.
Did
you think they were playing someone better?
I mean, who's their QB?
Might be Mike White.
No, Mike White's still hurt.
Oh, it might be that Johnson guy. He played pretty well in that one game.
I think the Texans win this. I feel like because Flacco's hurt, Wilson's hurt, Mike White is hurt. I think it's Josh Johnson that's starting. I'm not 100% sure.
Hey, the Jets just won a record for the most QBs fielded in a season.
I don't think they could break that record. The Browns had like 5 one year.
Well, let's see. They're already on 4.
They're at 4, yeah.
So, I mean,
guess.
Josh Johnson gets hurt, and then next week we get... I don't know. Is he there? I thought he was on the Packers.
He's a free agent.
Ah. Cool. Anyway, we have another great game. Eagles-Giants. The Giants are just so bad on both sides of the ball. I think the Eagles are going to win this. At least the Eagles get carried by Darius Slay.
The Eagles have been playing well. I think the Eagles do win this.
Down. Okay, so I'm sitting down now. Alright, next we have Panthers Dolphins. I actually have the Dolphins.
I have the Dolphins too, I think. I don't believe in Cam to be honest.
I believe in Cam because Cam just like has that kind of he has that moxie about him where he wants to prove people wrong, you know. But Tua's been playing pretty well recently.
Dangerous a person like Cam with a bad arm.
That is true, but Cam has been running the ball and he's doing Cam things again, which he wasn't really allowed to do in New England.
Cam. Teddy is in Denver, Mason.
Ravens fans. But I have the Dolphins winning just because I like the Dolphins team still. I like Tua, and I don't like how they treated Tua. Next, we have the Titans slaughter of the Patriots slaughter of the Titans. I don't see a way the Titans win this.
Imagine if Mac Jones loses.
Just Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Now, hot take, J.C. Jackson's going to get 4 picks. J.C. Jackson is going to be covering the great Chester Rogers or Nick Webster-Kakina. The Titans are going to have to get real creative this week if they want to win this game. If the Titans win this game, round of applause. At least next week they have a bye. I mean, even then, if they even like win their division, he deserves Coach of the Year, because man, what he's done with a team so hurt, I don't think any other coach in the league can do that, besides maybe the Hoodie.
Yeah.
Like, look at what
he did go like 10-6 with Matt Castle.
Like, it's Kevin Stefanski was Coach of the Year last year, right? Now his team's injured and their team is struggling. Give me another team. I can't think of any other teams.
That injured?
Yeah, that are injured and struggling.
Packers are not really struggling.
The Seahawks pretty much killed their season.
Seahawks, yeah.
Yeah.
But no one thought Pete Carroll was a good coach.
Okay, everyone thought Pete Carroll was a good coach, besides like maybe us. I think that was just an us hot take. I think we just assumed that everyone assumed the same thing.
I mean, the Ravens have been hurt, but they've also just been playing really weird games.
Yeah, they lose games. The Ravens lost the Dolphins. Was something that happened. I know a lot of people probably already forgotten that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how the Dolphins beat the Patriots, I bet no one remembers that. And then they barely beat the Bears, but they had a backup quarterback. The Ravens are a weird team. They got blown out by the Bengals. Like, I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. Speaking of teams, I don't know what's going on with the Steelers and the Bengals. I have the Bengals just because I think the Steelers can't handle their new high-paced, high-horsepower offense. Especially with all the injuries on defense. Joe Hayden being out is big, too.
I think they couldn't stop Austin Eckler, which means they can't stop Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's better than Austin Eckler.
Oh, you finally said it. My God, he said someone's better than Austin Eckler. Clip that. Clip that. Clip that. Someone clip that. Teeks, you still here? He said anyone is better than another player on the Chargers. This is a miracle.
So I don't see the Steelers stopping the run of how their team's playing, and I also think they're just not good. If they cannot do anything on offense, they aren't going to beat the Bengals. The only teams that beat the Bengals are teams that score like 30 points on the Bengals' trash defense.
Now, there's a way the Steelers win this game. They got to really go for the gut. Really take them to the ground and just punch them right in the gut. Take the wind out of them. If you understand the joke, you understand the joke. Another great game. Falcons Jaguars. I don't know who's going to win this game. Weirdly enough, I think the Jaguars might, but I'm going to pick the Falcons. I have the gut feeling the Jaguars will, but I'm still going to pick the Falcons.
I think Jaguars win. I feel the Falcons are leaving Matt Ryan to die.
I concur. But I feel like the Jaguars are leaving Trevor Lawrence to die. So, I mean, if you can get evens out.
They're both doing it. I mean, one's 38, the other one's 22.
Hey, you know what? Oh, we have a game that I think the Chargers have a high chance of losing just because they're the Chargers. We have the Broncos against the Chargers.
Broncos again.
It just feels like a game the Chargers would play down to their opponents.
It does feel like one of those games. I mean, I don't think they have. I feel like the Broncos, there's no way they win this game. And if they do, it's going to be like the Cowboys game where it's more of the Chargers just self-destructing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If the Broncos win, it's because the Chargers played down to their competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, we have a game everyone's going to say is supposed to be good, and then it won't be. We have the Rams against the Packers. It's a common theme of the year. Anytime anyone's like, ooh, some two heavyweights, it's normally the score's like 17-9.
It's either a close game, low scoring, or one team just murders the other team.
It's kind of how it goes, yeah. I have the Rams because they're off bye and Aaron Rodgers' toe.
His toe is a huge issue, yeah.
That's so funny. You just put it on the fucking table. He's like, here's my foot. In case anyone wants some Aaron Rodgers feet pics, there you go.
Those do exist.
I have the Rams. In Lambeau, but, you know, Matt Stafford should be used to playing in the cold.
Yeah, I got the Rams. Get out of this.
Vikings, Niners. I think this is going to be a good game. I know a lot of people probably won't, but I think this is going to be a really good game. I think this is going to actually be a high-scoring game. I think Jimmy Garoppolo versus Kirk Cousins is going to be a shootout. And I think the Niners are going to come out of it. Gavin, if you're talking, you're lagging.
Vikings win.
Oh, cool. You got that part out. I have the Niners. Next, we have Ravens in primetime again. So I'm going to pick the Ravens just because they're playing the Browns, they keep rolling out a quarterback that's pretty much in a wheelchair at this point.
You don't.
Just for Baker's protection, let's just play 2 untouched with him, please.
Yeah, can we go back to Pro Bowl rules real quick?
Yeah, you sniffed the guy, he's down by contact. It makes Derrick Henry the worst Pro Bowl player ever, by the way.
It really does.
He searches for contact. Oh, he touched you, you're down.
Okay.
Next we have Seahawks football team, which I think at the beginning of the season I would have said is a good game. But now I just think the football team is going to win.
I think the football team... Yeah, I think so. I think football team wins this game.
I think Taylor Heineke has that primetime moxie, you know? He loves showing off on primetime, and he loves killing hopes and dreams. And you can do 2 for 1 if you...
are wanting to do that right now.
If you beat the Seahawks, their season's over. They have 0 chance. Like, even in, like, whatever the hell you call the NFC wildcard race, I think the Seahawks, if they lose to the football team, are out of it. Just because there's so many other teams losing or beating other terrible teams.
I think there's wins that are just required. Like, you can't have all these teams lose.
Yeah.
They're not in a position to do it with like 3 wins on the season.
They put the Cowboys and the Saints on Thursday again.
Yep, they did. It's Thursday night again.
Oh my god, that's stupid. Cowboys, I think.
Alright. I'll take the Cowboys too.
So we're betting. I have 50 on the Cowboys. On the bright side, I don't have to cry about the Titans being terrible next week. Smile.
Yeah.
Alright, that was our predictions. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. And remember, no power rankings this week, but the Cardinals are number 1. So...
they'll lose. Somehow.
Yes. Who are they playing again? Are they on bye? Yeah, they'll lose. They'll figure it out. But
the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Number 2, I don't know, the Bucks maybe? So, maybe they'll lose. Packers lost.
Yeah, I don't care. They're still number 2.
Cool. Well, anyways, guys.
We could put the Bills number 2.
They got blown out by the Colts.
And then they blew out the Saints.
Okay, yeah, but the Saints are in the NFC. Every team in the NFC is awful. Anyways, guys, this is Chatmendy along with my glorious, holy co-host, Gavin Modrizzle.